advertising, and then I worked in television, and I worked in an area called corporate, where I worked for big companies doing videos for them or speeches for their managing directors or that sort of thing. In all that time, I wanted to be an author. That was what a person who writes books. Sometimes in Australia, when I say to people, what's the difference? Writer, author, they can't tell me. But basically it is, an author writes books. That's what I wanted to do. Because I've always loved books. I've always loved reading. So I wanted to write my own stories. And I think possibly I was kind of influenced into this when I was about, I'm trying to think, 19, I guess. Very pleased with myself. I was working for one of the biggest advertising agencies in the world called J. Walter Thompson. And I was a trainee copywriter. And I thought I was pretty good. And I went to dinner with, I was going over to a young lady, and she invited me to dinner at her uncle's place. And we went to dinner, and everybody else there were in their 40s, and Diana and I were about, well, I was 19, she would have been 18, I guess. And I realised through the course of the dinner that at the table there were at least 3 people who were published authors. One of them was the host. And I thought, I didn't know that you could make a living as an author in Australia at that time. And I was very proud of the fact that I was a copywriter in advertising, and yet I felt so in awe of these people. And they were very pleasant, they were delightful all night. But I remember thinking, at this table, Diana and I are the only 2 who aren't authors. This is amazing. And I dropped her home at her place, and she said, you know, come in for coffee. She lived with parents. So there's nothing going on. And while she was making me coffee, she took a letter out and said, oh, you're always asking about my mysterious past, which I wasn't. It was a letter from her publisher. And she had a book that she'd written when she was 16 years old. It was about to be published. And my ego just collapsed. I'd been saying, well, Diana and I are the only people who aren't authors, and now it's just me. And I started to think, could I write a book? And I thought, I wonder how long a book is. I mean, I know how long a book is. It's that long, right? But I thought, how many words are there in a book? And this was pre-computers. So I took a James Bond book. It wasn't pre-James Bond books. And I used, for those